Om Sri Sai Ram. Yesterday we have begun the new topic called vectors, and we understood what are vectors and what is the difference between vectors and scalars. Scalars are physical quantities, vectors have got a direction. Before I go to the topic and explain some more things about vectors, let me share some very interesting story. You are all pursuing your studies, and if you have a goal to achieve in near future or even at the end of our earthly sojourn, you are like vector. But without any purpose, without any goal, if you are studying, it is more or less, we can say that you are like a scalar. Each one of us need to know what is the purpose of this life, what is that we want to achieve. And those who study in these institutions, they know what is the purpose, but it is required that we are constantly reminded about it so that we will work upon it. I remember a beautiful real life story which has happened, that one elderly person got an emergency call from his relatives saying that one of his close relatives is not keeping well. So he immediately rushed to the railway station. As he could not get his reservation done, when the train arrived at the station, he got into a general compartment. Those who have travelled by train, they know that apart from the reserved compartments, toward the end and in the beginning, immediately after the engine, there are general compartments where you buy general ticket and get into it. So this person also got into a general compartment, and you know the size of general compartment is half the size of reserved compartment, and it is very different than reserved compartments because you cannot go from one compartment to another compartment, they are very small. So he got into the compartment, he was sitting. In the meantime, the whistle was blown and the train started. The ticket collector also got into the same compartment. And as he stepped and took one or two steps, he found something below his feet. He bent down and checked, and he found a old wallet, purse. So he picked up, and he knew that it belongs to one of the passengers. And you know, the ticket collector in the compartment is very important person. His presence makes a big difference. People who travel without ticket and those who travel even with ticket. So as he got into, he picked up the purse and lifted up and asked, whose is it? So this person, so the ticket collector picked up that wallet and asked, whose is it? So this man, this elderly gentleman said, it is mine. He was at some distance. So the TT asked, what is the proof? And then the elderly gentleman said, sir, there is a Krishna's picture in the wallet. And then the TT said, it is very common that people can keep Krishna's picture. Can you tell some identification by that I know that it belongs to you? He said, sir, it has got a story. If you have time, you please come, I will tell you. TT got into his routine work, he checked all the tickets, and as I mentioned, general compartment, from general compartment you cannot go to the next. He had some time before the next station to arrive, so he came and sat next to this elderly person and he said, please share your story. And then he started telling that, when I was studying in my second PUC, when the results came of first PUC, I got first rank. And my father was so very happy that I stood first in the class. So he took me to the market, took me to a gift shop, and he asked me that I can buy anything of my choice. Even though there were many gifts available there, but I liked this particular wallet and I asked my father to buy. Even though it was quite expensive, my father, without a second thought, he purchased it and gave it to me. I had a lot of respect for my parents because it was their blessings that I was doing well. So I took a photograph of my father and mother and put in that particular wallet. And then onwards, I kept doing well in my studies. I passed with distinction in my second PUC. I got into a good college. I continued to do well in my studies. But after 2-3 years of studies in college, suddenly this thought came to me that I look very handsome. So I took out the picture of my parents and put my picture in that, and I used to admire my own photograph as and when I used to find time. With passage of time, I completed my studies, I got a good job, and very soon my parents got me married to a beautiful girl. I was so much fascinated to the beauty of my wife that I took out my picture and took her picture and put in the wallet, and as and when I find time during the work, I kept admiring it, thinking that she is going to be with me forever. Earlier, I was thinking that parents are going to be with me forever. With passage of time, I was blessed with a son, and I was so fond of my son that I will go late to the office. I'll come back early from the office so that I can spend more and more time with my son. After some time, I started liking my son so much that I took out my wife's picture from the wallet and put my son's picture, thinking that he is going to be with me forever, he will take care of me, and it is my duty to take care of him. And with lot of love, I brought him up. He also did well in his life. He also did well in his studies. He completed his studies and went to US and got a job there. With passage of time, I lost my parents. And just 2 years back, I also lost my wife. And my son, who got a good job in US, visits once in a while, maybe once in 3-4 years. And at home, I am alone. One day, as I was sitting and contemplating upon my life, I realized the truth that at some point of time, I thought my parents are going to be with me forever, which never happened. When I got married to my wife, I thought she is going to be there with me forever. That didn't happen. I thought my son is going to take care of me, but he is so very far, he hardly has time to come and spend some time with me. I am just alone. And then this dawned to me that no, I am not alone. God is there with me. It is His blessings that I could do very well in my life. It is His blessings that all my requirements were fulfilled. And at this point of time, even though nobody is there, it is God. But then I thought, how nice it could have been that this realization would have dawned to me when I was a student, and I would have made friendship with God, and by now I would have had a lot of satisfaction in my life, that why I am leading this particular life. Now I understand the purpose of life, but it's too very late to work in that particular direction. So this is the story of each one of us. We need to know what is the purpose of life. We need to work for it along with our academics, along with our studies. We also spend some time in pursuing that particular goal of life, which Swami has beautifully explained, that the purpose of life is to know our own self. Coming back, I am sure by now you will be very clear whether you are a vector or a scalar. If you have a direction, you are a vector, else you are a scalar. Try becoming vector so that you will know there is a goal in life which we need to achieve along with all our worldly achievements, and please do spend some time in contemplation of that. Let us come back to the subject. This is about collinear vectors. We already discussed yesterday, we also solved some problems based upon that, but again collinear vectors. Just quick revision of what we did. One may observe that whatever be the value of lambda, the vector lambda A is always collinear to the vector A. Means what? There is a vector A, you multiply with 2, it will become 2A. In the process what happens? Direction remains same, magnitude becomes double. If you multiply with 3, it will become 3 times, length will become 3 times, direction will remain same. So basically collinear vector means one vector you are able to express in terms of the other vector. A is equal to lambda B or B is equal to lambda A. Lambda is a constant. It can be half, it can be 2/3, it can be 2, it can be anything. Now, if the vectors are expressed in terms of component form. What is component form? Yesterday we discussed. Components are basically because of the coordinates. In 3 dimension, if there is a point, we say the coordinates of that particular point are x, y, z. X is the x coordinate, y is the y coordinate, z is the z coordinate. And we also discussed that along the x axis a unit vector I is defined, along y axis a unit vector j is defined, and along the z axis a unit vector k is defined. So I, j, k, we call them unit vectors. Why do we call them unit vectors? Because their length is 1 unit. So they have got just 1 unit length. That 1 unit can be anything. It can be 1 centimeter, it can be 1 inch, it can be 1 meter, it can be anything, but it is 1. So we also learnt yesterday how to express a vector in component form. If the coordinates are x, y, z, the vector can be written as xi plus yj plus zk. So there are 2 vectors here. Let us say the coordinates are a1, a2, a3 for one point, b1, b2, b3 for another point. So the first vector A is expressed as a1i plus a2j plus a3k, whereas second vector the point coordinates are b1, b2, b3. So second vector is expressed as b1i plus b2j plus b3k. If we say A and B are collinear, what should happen? A should be lambda times B or B should be lambda times A. Lambda times means it can be double, it can be triple, it can be half, it can be 2/3, it can be anything. So that is what he has told. Second vector b1i plus b2j plus b3k equal to lambda times a1i plus a2j plus b3k. In short, if you simply want to say, we can say that yes. So in other terms we can say the vector B is equal to lambda times A. That lambda is some scalar quantity, 2, 3, 4, half, 2 by 3, 3 by 4, anything. Let us move to the next. Yes, vectors joining 2 points. In a space, we have 2 points, those 2 points are joined. Since it is difficult to draw 3-dimensional thing on 2-dimensional thing, it requires little bit of imagination. What is the kind of imagination I was mentioning to you? Whenever you are studying about vectors, whenever you are going to study about 3-dimensional geometry, always think about corner of a room. Just go to the corner of a room, you imagine that that is origin. One side is x-axis, another side is y-axis, and vertical is z-axis. And imagine that in a room there are 2 objects, maybe one fan, one tube light. So like that, here we have one point P1, another point is P2. So he is asking us to join these 2 points and find the vector. So how to find? We also studied about position vector. What do you mean by position vector? Location of a point with respect to origin. So if P1 is a point, if the coordinates are x1, y1, z1, we say OP1 is the position vector of first point. OP2 is the position vector of second point. Our objective is what? To find out vector P1, P2. So apply triangular law of addition. What is the triangular law of addition says? OP1 plus P1, P2 equal to OP2. OP1 plus P1, P2 equal to OP2. What is OP1? Position vector of P1. What is OP2? Position vector of P2. So OP1 plus P1, P2 equal to OP2. Simplify it. Just simplify it, you will get the answer. So keep P1, P2 here. We can say is equal to OP2 minus OP1. So what is P1, P2? This vector P1, P2. What is this vector P1, P2? Is a vector which is joining 2 points. So which is equal to what? OP2 minus OP1. What is important to remember is, if you have to find out the vector P1, P2, it is position vector of second point minus position vector of first point. Suppose you have to find out vector AB. So we will say it is OB minus OA. That's what he has done. What is OP2? The coordinates are x2, y2, z2. So OP2 is x2i plus y2j plus z2k. What is OP1? The coordinates of P1 are x1, y1, z1. So x1i plus y1j plus z1k. Yesterday we studied how to subtract two vectors. When we subtract two vectors which are in the component form, what we do? We simply take the difference of scalar quantities. That is x2 minus x1 into I, y2 minus y1 into j plus z2 minus z1 into k. In other words, if you want to know what is the modulus, what is the length of P1, P2? Yesterday we already discussed. Suppose you have a vector OA which is xi plus yj plus zk. Here is a vector. So if you want to know what is the magnitude of this vector, it is under root of x square plus y square plus z square. So apply the same thing here. What is P1, P2? It is x2 minus x1i plus y2 minus y1j plus z2 minus z1k. Now what is its magnitude? This is what he is telling. What is the magnitude of this vector? X2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square plus z2 minus z1 square. When we are going to study 3-dimensional geometry, this is only called distance formula, distance between 2 points. Yes. From there we move on to section formula. Remember, section formula you have studied in 2-dimensional geometry. After learning about distance formula, immediately the next thing which you study is about section formula. There is a line segment which is been divided into 2 parts, not equal parts. The ratio is m:n. What is the coordinate of that point? So we studied the formula. If the point which is dividing has got coordinates xy, first point is x1, y1, second point is x2, y2, the ratio is m:n, then x is equal to mx2 plus nx1 by m plus n, my2 plus ny1 by m plus n is the y coordinate. That is what we studied in coordinate geometry in 10th standard. Very similar to that in vector form. Here is a vector PQ. Remember, this whole thing is one vector PQ. R is a point which is dividing into 2 parts. If P is a point, here is a vector A representing P, means position vector of P is A, position vector of Q is B. R is a point which is dividing this line segment in the ratio m:n. And we are assuming that its position vector is R. We need to find out vector R in terms of A, B, M, N. So whatever you did in 2-dimensional geometry, same thing you apply here. There is nothing new. What did we do? Is a very simple thing. PQ is being divided into 2 parts in the ratio m:n. So we say PR by RQ is equal to M by N. Okay. How much is PR by RQ? It is M is to N. Okay. Now take, here it is vector, so take it like this in vector form. So what we will say, NPR is equal to MRQ. What is PR vector? We already studied. Any vector if you want to know, for example, if you want to know what is PR, it is position vector of R minus position vector of P. What is position vector of R? It is vector R. What is position vector of P? It is vector A. So we can say N into R minus A equal to M into RQ. It is B minus R. Put the things together, getting R one side. This is what he has told and he has derived it. Okay, he found out separately, independently, and got this formula. This formula, how do you get this? Very simple this. What you do is write NR minus NA is equal to MB minus MR. Collect the terms of R one side. So if minus MR comes this side, it will become plus, and R will be common, so you will get M plus N R is equal to MB plus NA. So R is equal to this. R is equal to MB plus NA upon M plus N. Very simple formula which gives you position vector of a point which is dividing a vector in the ratio M is to N. Let us move further. If the division is external, external means what? Imagination, somewhere outside. It is something like PQ is a line segment. This line segment PQ is divided by some external point R. We do not know what is it. Okay, but it is dividing in the same ratio M is to N. So the position vector of P is same A. Position vector of Q is also same B, but the point which is dividing externally is R. Its position vector is R. So how we have to take the ratio M is to N? Remember, this whole thing is M. Means P is measured from here to R, Q is also measured from Q to R. Just like previous question. There R was middle, so we said PR and QR. Here also it is PR and QR. Same way as we did, you proceed in the same way. Means what? What we will say? PR by QR equal to M by N. Do cross multiplication, you will get NPR is equal to MQR. And do the same thing. What is PR means? R minus A. What is QR means? It is R minus B. Collect the terms one side of R. This is MR, this is NR. Collect it one side. So what you will get? R, or take this to that side, one and the same. However you wish, you can take. So open it, NR minus NA is equal to MR minus MB. So what is that we have to do? We have to collect the terms of R one side. Since that is positive, this is also positive, no doubt. Get this MB this side, it will become MB minus NA is equal to M minus N we have MB, my MB we brought it to this side, minus NA, MR is there, minus NR. Take R common and you will get R equal to MB minus NA upon M minus N. This is the formula which he directly wrote. But the method of getting is just like the previous one, there is no big difference. Okay. Let us move directly to the exercise. Second exercise. Problems in the exercise are all very simple, very small, not very big. So, we will quickly solve these problems and try to do all the problems of the exercise. First one, compute the magnitude of the vector. How do you find magnitude of the vector? We have seen if there is a vector r, which is xi plus yj plus zk. If it is a vector, that the magnitude is given by under root of x square plus y square plus z square. So, just apply this formula. So, tell me what is magnitude of A? Magnitude of A is under root of 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square root 3. What is the magnitude of B? Magnitude of B, same formula, under root of 2 square plus minus 7 square plus minus 3 square. Simplify. 4, 49 plus 9. 49 plus 9, 58, 58 plus 4, 62. Third one, modulus of C, under root of 1 by root 3 square plus 1 by root 3 square plus 1 by root 3 square. 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 is 3 by 3 is nothing but 1. So, the answer is 1. Very simple problems. Let us move to the next. We have two problems here. First he says, write two different vectors having the same magnitude. You can write anything of your choice. Anything of your choice you can write. Magnitude should be same. So, I will just write one. Let us say A is a vector which is equal to 2y plus j. B is another vector. Let us say I will say it is I plus 2j. See, this good enough. What is modulus of A? Under root of 2 square plus 1 square, under root of 5. What is modulus of B? Under root of 1 square plus 2 square, which is also root 5. So, we can say that A and B are two vectors whose magnitude is same. You can write any example for this. Make sure that this answer is same. Okay. Next one, write two different vectors having same direction. Two different vectors, write two different vectors having same direction. Direction is same. We have studied all collinear vectors having the same direction. So, you can say A is one vector, 3A is another vector. What do you find in them? Means you can say second vector B is equal to this. A is one vector, B is equal to 3A. So, what do we say? A and B are collinear. In the same time they have same direction. There are two different vectors. So, that is one example. You can write any example for this. There is nothing like fixed answer for this question. Come to the fourth one. Find the values of x and y so that these two vectors are equal. When do you say two vectors are equal? There are two vectors here. One you can call it A. Let us say A is equal to 2i plus 3j. This is one vector. Second vector is xi plus yj. Second vector B is xi plus yj. When do you say these two are equal? When do we say two vectors are equal? When their scalar components are equal. What are the scalar components? 2 is equal to x and 3 is equal to y. This is the answer. X and y are 2 and 3. Let us move to the next. Find a scalar and vector components of the vector with initial point 2, 1 and terminal point minus 5, 7. If there are only two coordinates given, he talks about two dimensional. If he gives three coordinates, he talks about three dimensional. Okay. So, what is the first point? When we are solving the first problem 5, we can say vector A is equal to, what is the point? 2, 1. We can say it is 2i. Yes. Let us read the question. Find the scalar and vector components of a vector with initial point. You can, if you want, you can write this is A, initial point, and terminal point, this you can call it B. If it is so, we can say that this is OA, and what is OB? Minus 5i plus 7j. So, we have OA and OB. A is the initial point, B is the terminal point. He says find a scalar and vector component of a vector with initial point A and terminal point B. So, basically he wants us to find out AB. So, what is AB? It is OB minus OA. So, directly subtract minus 5i minus 2i is minus 7i plus 7j minus j, because you are subtracting, it is 6j. So, this is the vector AB, but what he asked is not vector AB, he says find scalar and vector components. So, what are the scalar components? Scalar components are minus 5, 7, minus 7 and 6, whereas when we say vector components, they are minus 7i comma 6j. So, basically it means that when you take with I and j, they are vector components, because I and j are unit vectors. If you do not take them, they are called scalar components. We will move to the next problem. Yes. Find the sum of the three vectors A, B, C. Simply addition. So, when you do addition, what do? You add I with I, j with j, k with k. Okay? We do not add I with vector k. We do not add j with k. So, the easiest way is write one below the other. A is equal to I minus 2j plus k. This cap is indicates that it is a unit vector. B is, also learn the easier way of remembering it. Do not keep on read the whole thing. You simply say minus 2, 4, 5. So, you understand that it is minus 2 means minus 2i, then 4 means 4j, and 5 means 5k. Third one, 1 minus 6 minus 7. 1 minus 6 minus 7. He is asking us to add. So, A plus B plus C equal to 1 minus 2 minus 1 plus 1 is 0. So, it is 0i, either you write or don't need to write. This is minus 2 minus 6 is minus 8 plus 4. So, it is minus 4j. Here it is 1 plus 5, 6 minus 7 is minus 1. This is the answer. So, what is the answer? Minus 4j minus k. This is the answer. So, what we need to do? Add the terms of I, add the terms of j, add the terms of k independently and put them together. Come to the seventh problem. He says find a unit vector in the direction of this particular vector. How do you find a unit vector in the direction of a vector? What is the difference between a vector and a unit vector in the same direction? The difference is only in the magnitude. Normal vector will have its own magnitude, unit vector will have magnitude 1. Means what? If you divide a vector with its magnitude, you get a unit vector. Means what? Magnitude will become 1, direction will remain same. So, find a unit vector in the direction of A. Whenever we say unit vector, we represent it as A cap. What is A cap? It is vector A divided by its magnitude. So, what is vector A? It is 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, that is I plus j plus 2. It is 1, 1, 2 divided by its magnitude. What is it? 1 square plus 1 square plus 2 square. So, what is the answer? The answer is very simple. 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 4, 6. So, root 6. So, we can say it is 1 by root 6 I plus 1 by root 6 j plus 2 by root 6 k. So, here is a unit vector. So, how to convert a vector into unit vector? Divide the vector with its magnitude. You get a unit vector. Let us proceed further to the next. He says for a given vectors, he has given A, B, find a unit vector in the direction of A plus B. It is the combination of last two problems. Previous problem was find a unit vector, before that was add the vectors. So, here we have to do both the things together. So, find out A plus B first, and do not keep on writing one below the other, directly write 2 minus 1 is 1, minus 1 plus 1 0, 2 minus 1 is 1. In other words, it is nothing but I plus k. This is A plus B. What is asking? Find a unit vector in the direction. So, we will say unit vector equal to the vector A plus B divided by its magnitude. What is A plus B? It is I plus k divided by, how do you find modulus? Square root of 1 square plus 1 square. It is square root of 2. In other words, 1 by root 2 I plus 1 by root 2 k is the answer. This is a unit vector in the direction of sum of the two vectors A and B. 10th one, find a vector in the direction of this which has magnitude 8 units. See, these problems are like the simple problems which you studied in arithmetic when you were in 3rd or 4th standard. Try to recollect. We used to have a problem like 5 pencils cost 10 rupees. What is the cost of 10 pencils? So, how you are solving? If 5 pencils are costing 10 rupees, 1 pencil will cost 10 by 5, 2 rupees. And then whatever number you want, you multiply with that. Similarly, this one. So, what he says, find a vector in the direction of this particular vector which has magnitude 8 units. So, we can say whatever vector he has given, you take it as vector A. So, what is it? It is 5 minus 1, 2. Here is a vector. What you do is first find out unit vector, means we are converting into unit vector. So, it is A unit vector is, how do you do that? Vector divided by its magnitude. So, it is 5 minus 1 plus 2 divided by under root of 5 square minus 1 square plus 2 square. So, what do you get? It is 5i minus j plus 2k divided by 5 square is 25, 25 plus 1 is 26, 26 plus 4 is 30. This is a unit vector. What he is asking, not unit vector, he says whose magnitude is 8 units. So, multiply with 8. So, we will get, this is A unit vector. So, what is 8A? multiply with 8. So, you can say 8 by root 30 and this whole thing 5I minus j plus 2k. If you wish, you can take this 8 inside, else you can leave it like that, it does not make any difference. Okay? Yes. He says, 11th problem, he says, show that these two vectors are collinear. We already discussed collinear vectors means what? When we are able to express one vector as scalar product of the other. A is equal to lambda b, b is equal to lambda a. Okay? So, first vector you can call it, first one you can take it as A. What is A? It is 2I minus 3j plus 4k. Second one you take it as B. What is B? It is minus 4I plus 6j minus 8k. In these three, what is common? Observe carefully. What can be taken common? We can take minus 2 common. If you take out minus 2 from B, what will be left? You will be left with 2I minus 3j plus 4k. What is this 2I minus 3j plus 4k? It is nothing but A. So, we wrote B as minus 2k. Hence, sorry, minus 2A. We expressed B as minus 2 times A. Whenever you express a vector as scalar product of another vector, we say they are collinear. Hence, A and B are collinear. Okay. Let us move to the next problem. We are almost coming to the last part of the exercise, but before that let us see this 13th problem. He says find the direction cosines of the vector joining these 2 points. A and B are joined. So, first find out what is the vector AB. So, OA is equal to what? 1, 2 minus 3. OB is what? Minus 1, minus 2, 1. So, find out the vector AB. What did you learn? We learned that AB is equal to OB minus OA. No need to write separately, you can directly subtract. From OB you have to subtract OA. So, this is minus 1, minus 1. It will become minus 2I. This is minus 2, minus 2. It will become minus 4j. This is 1, minus of minus will become plus, so it will become plus 4k. This is vector AB. How did you find? Position vector of B minus position vector of A. From OB we have subtracted minus 1 is minus 2, minus 2 is minus 4, 1 plus 3 is 4. Now he says after doing that, find the direction cosines of AB. So, how do you find direction cosines of AB? Find a unit vector in the direction of AB. Means what? We are first finding out. So, what you will get? Minus 2I minus 4j plus 4k divided by under root of minus 2 square minus 4 square plus 4 square. So, what do you get? You get minus 2I minus 4j plus 4k divided by 2 square is 4, 16 plus 16, 32 plus 4, 36, square root of 36 is 6. So, we can write that as minus 2 by 6I minus 4 by 6j plus 4 by 6k. Minus 2 by 6 can be written as minus 1 by 3. So minus 1 by 3, we are writing the scalar components. So minus 1 by 3, minus 2 by 3 and 2 by 3. These are the scalar components of this vector. The scalar components of a unit vector are only called direction cosines. So that is the answer. Let us come to the next problem. What he says, show this vector is equally inclined to axis. Here is a vector. What is the vector? A equal to I plus j plus k. Here is a vector. How do you know the inclination? Inclination is nothing but direction cosines. How do you find direction cosines? By knowing the scalar components of unit vector. So find out unit vector. So unit vector is equal to I plus j plus k divided by under root of 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square. In other terms, it is 1 by root 3 I plus 1 by root 3 j plus 1 by root 3 k. So direction cosines are 1 by root 3 comma 1 by root 3 comma 1 by root 3. These are the direction cosines. If these are the direction cosines, we find that they are all equal. Direction cosines, yesterday we discussed cos alpha, cos beta, cos gamma. They are represented as LMN. So here we find that L equal to M equal to N. So the vector is equally inclined to all three axes. That is what he asked us to prove. Move to the next one. We come to almost the last part. What is it? This is the last problem. Find the position vector of a point R which divide the line joining the 2 points P and Q whose position vectors are given in the ratio 2:1 internally, externally. You remember we began today's class. After learning collinear vectors, we learned how to find a vector PQ, and the third and the last thing before the exercise which we studied was position vector of a point which divides a vector internally and externally. Same formula we will be using here. Okay. So we have two vectors, you can call it OA. Let us say OA is what? 1, 2, minus 1. This is one vector, and then you have one more vector, you can call it OB, minus 1, 1, 1. So here is a line AB, okay, means he has given the position vector of A, position vector of B also, and then there is some point R which is dividing it. This is A, this is B, and this ratio is m:n. If it is so, how we are finding out R? What was the formula for internal? For internal, what was the formula? R is equal to MB plus NA upon M plus N. What is the ratio? 2:1. M is equal to 2, N is equal to 1. OA is given. So, write R is equal to MB. MB is what? 2. What is B? Second vector. That is minus I plus J plus K. MB plus NA. What is N? It is 1. A, first vector, 1, 2, minus 1. Divided by M plus N, that is 2 plus 1. Club them together. This is minus 2i, this is plus I. Minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1. minus 1i. This is 2j and this is also 2j. 2j plus 2j is 4j. This is 2k and this is minus k. 2k minus k is k divided by 3. This is the position vector of a point R which is dividing AB internally in the ratio 2:1. Now, if you have to find out external division, the formula changes. What is the change in the formula? Very simple. The middle sign becomes minus. So, put the minus sign and calculate, you will get the answer. That you can do it yourself. What is the formula? Formula is R is equal to MB minus NA upon M minus N. So, use that formula. Instead of plus, you use minus sign and get the answer. So, this is how we are able to do the problems if you know the formula. If you do not know the formula, you have to solve, you have to derive it. Okay? So, with this we come to a close of this particular, sorry, there is one more problem, we will just do this. He says show that these 3 points respectively form vertices of a right triangle. Okay? We do not know which is A, which is B, which is C. He has just given 3 vectors. So, we can say, we can take them as, he has given A is how much? 3 minus 4 minus 4. Here is a vector A. How do you know that the sides which are given are the sides of a right triangle? Simple thing which you have studied in lower classes, that is use Pythagoras theorem. What the Pythagoras theorem says? Square of hypotenuse is equal to sum of the squares of other 2 sides. Okay? So, we do not know which is the hypotenuse. So, what you do is simply find out modulus of A. So, what you get? 3 square minus 4 square plus minus 4 square. Find out the answer. 16 plus 16, 32 plus 9 is 41. So, this is one side. Okay. Now, take the second vector B. What is B? 2 minus 1, 1. So, what is modulus of B? Under root of 2 square plus minus 1 square plus 1 square. How much is it? 1 plus 1, 2 plus 4, 6. So, this is root 6. Take the third one, vector C. How much is it? 1 minus 3 minus 5. So, find out what is vector modulus of it. 1 minus 3 square plus minus 5 square. 25 plus 9, 34 plus 1, 35. What do you find? You find that modulus of A square is equal to modulus of B square plus modulus of C square. Hence, they form right triangle by Pythagoras theorem. Okay. Square of one side is equal to sum of the squares of other 2 sides. Square root of 41, its square is 41, 41 equal to root 6 square is 6, root 35 square is 35, 35 plus 6 equal to 41. So, with this we come to a close of this exercise, and in the next class we are going to study about product of vectors. In product we have got two types, one is called scalar product, another is called vector product. So, first we will study about scalar product. Thank you. Sai Ram.